Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you're having a great morning this morning. It is Tuesday morning. As always, a coffee kind of morning. I do apologize. I've got a bit of sore throat going on. I think it's one of those summertime colds. Just that tinge of stuff. So if I clear my throat a bit, I apologize for that. I'm here to join in on a thread for one of the coolest guys in the VC, Rod, HappyHippy the Vinyl Guy. An amazing guy, super supportive of my channel, and I greatly appreciate his comments. And I always love to support my great friends, and so he's doing a thread called With and Without. Basically, show 3 to 5 bands with lineup changes. Rod, that could be a whole year's worth of videos, and you know that for sure, because there are so many bands that have gone so through many lineup changes. I would be curious to see what bands didn't go through any lineup changes. That would be another cool thread as well. But anyway, this is a great one. I'm going to show 3 bands because of time, and a couple of bands I could go on forever, but I'm going to try and do a Coles Note version of it. So let's all go over to Rod's channel, and I'll leave the link below, and support him. Leave wonderful comments, like, subscribe, the whole bit, because he deserves it. He's a fantastic guy, knows his music, knows his stuff. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button for me. I want to continue to put great content out there to be informative and to show you guys some great bands and artists that I have in my collection as I push to 1,000 subs. And that's my goal this year, to get to 1,000. So again, please hit the like and subscribe button below. I greatly appreciate it, and I love all your comments. I love your support. Thank you so much. So, excuse me for a second. I'm also joined by my beautiful lady Sally, who decided to join me. And if my sound is a little off, I'm on a different phone. My my main phone, I accidentally dropped it, and I've got 3/4 of a screen, so I changed to an older version. So I'm hoping the quality and the sound quality is okay. So I apologize. So this first band, which happens to be my favorite band of all time, has gone through so many lineup changes. I could do a whole series on this one, and I have, and I may do it again. It's Deep Purple. So their first 3 albums, very psychedelic, very progressive, a lot of covers, still great. I love these guys. I love their first 3 albums. But probably the most significant change was they went from a progressive psychedelic band to a hard rock, heavy metal, early stages of heavy metal band that everyone knows them by. So the original lineup was Rod Evans on vocals, which is an amazing vocalist. I love Rod Evans' vocals. Nick Simper on bass, great bassist from England. Ian Pace on drums, the only original member remaining in the band. John Lord on keyboards, and Richie Blackmore, of course, on guitars. So after the first 3 albums, Richie Blackmore wanted a heavier sound, a more arena rock sound, like a Uriah Heep and all those big bands in the day. And he knew that Rod Evans didn't have the pipes to do that, even though he was an amazing vocalist. He also wanted a harder edged rhythm section. So unbeknownst to Nick Simper and Rod Evans, during the production of their next album, they recruited Ian Gillan and Roger Glover. Of course, Ian Gillan, one of the greatest vocalists of that time in hard rock, and Roger Glover, that heavy bass sound that he is known for. Also a great producer as well. And next thing you know, Rod Evans and Nick Simper were out, even though they had no say in it. They were out, and I absolutely love their first 3 albums. I really do. I think they did an amazing job. But I think Richie Blackmore, after thinking about it, I think he made the right decision. Maybe he didn't go about it the right way, but he made the right decision, because Deep Purple became famous. They're commercially successful. I mean, they 100 million, what is it, 100 million albums released worldwide. Just remarkable stuff. But again, a ton of lineup changes, a ton of lineup changes. So after the first 3 albums, they came up with this opus in rock, a complete 180-degree turn, hard rock, heavy. I mean, you got the opus Child in Time, the 10-minute kind of Stairway to Heaven, Deep Purple Stairway to Heaven. Just completely different sound, and amazing, amazing stuff. And so the lineup change again was Ian Gillan on vocals, Roger Glover on bass, and then the rest of the band remained the same. And then Mark II, so that introduced the Mark II version. Mark II version would become the most commercially successful of the lineup. Then, of course, there was always tension between Ian Gillan and Ritchie Blackmore, and that led to Gillan leaving. David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes came in. Roger Glover left as well. That entered the Mark III era of the band. And then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Ian Gillan came back. Ritchie Blackmore left to form Rainbow. Roger Glover went with him. I could go on and on and on. But the major change in the band was between the Mark I version and the Mark II version of the band. Just 2 completely different bands for sure. Their latest effort, and one that I'm so amazed with, is 2020's Whoosh. Remarkable stuff. This is a Blu-ray in here as well. But of course it features Ian Gillan on vocals, Steve Morse from the Dixie Dregs on guitar. He replaced, Ritchie. Roger Glover on bass, Ian Pace on drums, and the amazing Don Airey on keyboards. And they've also come out with their latest cover of some of their favorite cover bands. This is Turning to Crime. So Deep Purple, amazing, amazing stuff. I'm keeping this one short, but I could go on forever on Deep Purple. But a ton of lineup changes. I mean, I think at one point you had Jolene Turner on vocals. Somebody, and again, Ritchie Blackmore coming and going. And then he finally had enough. Ian Gillan coming and going. Ian Gillan formed his own band at one point, which is a great band, by the way. But again, I'm just going to try and keep this one short on Deep Purple. But an amazing lineup changes. And I love every era of the band. I don't know how many Mark versions there are of the band. I think 6. But yeah, remarkable stuff. So that's one. And then we have the amazing Creedence Clearwater Revival. The amazing band from California, led by John Fogerty, vocalist, lead guitarist, brother Tom Fogerty on rhythm guitars, bassist Stu Cook, and on drums Doug Clifford. I've got quite a few of their albums. This is one of their earlier ones. And they started in 1959 as Blue Velvets, and then as the Gollywags, and then they changed their name to Creedence in 1967. They also played at Woodstock. This is an amazing live album. Kind of a combination of swamp rock and blues and southern rock and country rock. And then unfortunately the band ended in 1972. But the lineup pretty much stayed the same up until 1972, when brother Tom Fogerty decided to leave the band. And they came out with this one here, Mardi Gras, featuring the 3 remaining members of the band. Quite a departure in the vocal styles, because all three members were singing. They were also writing, where John Fogerty was the main writer of the band. It took a couple listens to get into that album, because it's quite a departure from Willie and the Poor Boys and all these great albums that they put out. They missed that hard edge of Tom Fogerty's rhythm guitar. But at the same time, it became an amazing album to me. But the sales didn't go all that well because the critics didn't really like it. But the more you listen to it, the better it gets. So that was a major change in the band. But again, the final change, as there was tension between John Fogerty and the remaining members of the band, and that was a whole other topic. But unfortunately, Tom Fogerty would pass away in 1990 from complications as a result of a blood transfusion during a back surgery. The blood was filled with HIV, unbeknownst to him, and lost his life. John Fogerty continued to have a successful solo career, as well as Stu Cook and Doug Clifford formed Creedence Clearwater Revisited in 1995, and again there was conflict with John not wanting them to go out on the road. There was all kinds of tension, but it was quite a departure from Willie and the Poor Boys or all these great albums that they put out to this one here, Mardi Gras. But that's part of being in a band. Even though they were family, they still had tension, and but still a great album, but quite a change for the band for sure. And finally, this is a great album as well, Pendulum, awesome stuff. Finally, we're going to talk about Styx, amazing melodic hard rock band from Chicago, who has also gone through a ton of lineup changes. They started in 1972 with their debut album, Styx. Sorry for the photo, but featured Dennis DeYoung on vocals and keyboards, J.Y. James Young on vocals and lead guitar, John Kowalski on vocals and guitar, amazing guitarist in his own right for sure, Chuck Pinoza on bass, and twin John Pinoza on drums. And amazing band. They put out, this is a cool wooden nickel recordings of their first 4 albums. Amazing stuff. And the lineup would remain the same until 1976's Crystal Ball, which I should have brought out. I don't think I have it here. I do have it. Oh, sorry, I do have it here. Crystal Ball. Beautiful album. Amazing stuff. As John Kowalski left to spend time with his family after the release of this album. As good as John was, the band found the amazing Tommy Shaw, and that just changed the direction of the band for sure. And Styx would become one of the most successful bands of its time. And and of course they put out all kinds of amazing stuff, Equinox and all kinds of amazing albums. This is Paradise Theater. I didn't bring everything out, I should have. But during the tour of Kilroy Was Here, which became more of a concept, theatrical type of performance, the band started to go in a different direction. Dennis DeYoung wanted the more of a concept and theatrical type of performance. Kilroy was very difficult to perform at a concert. So they're mixed in with lineups of all these great bands, these hard rocking bands, and they're doing a stage performance basically, and it just it didn't go well with the crowd. The rest of the band wanted to continue to be the rockin' band that they were, so they removed Dennis DeYoung, and all kinds of changes going on, and then he would be eventually replaced with Lawrence Gowan, the amazing Canadian artist simply known as Gowan, keyboardist, amazing vocalist. There's all kinds of story behind that. Again, I'm trying to keep this short, but they would come out with the amazing album The Mission. Another lineup change is, unfortunately, drummer John Penoza would pass away in 1996, and Chuck Penoza occasionally stands in because he's not the healthiest person either, but he did perform on this wonderful album, Crash of the Crown. I voted this as my favorite album of 2021. I think it's just amazing. I was just listening to it again yesterday. The songs are refreshing. They're so good. They're inspirational, I guess, if that's what you call it. Of course, Tommy Shaw and James J.Y. Young are the mainstays of the band. You now have Ricky Phillips on bass. Chuck Penoza occasionally stands in on bass. He did play a couple of tracks off this one. Lawrence Gowan, of course, who is all over this album, on keyboards and vocals. And Todd Zuckerman, the amazing Todd Zuckerman. Check out his YouTube channel. Wonderful, wonderful drummer. These guys are remarkable. There's The Mission there. I did bring it out. This is a remarkable album as well. Kind of a concept album written mainly by Tommy Shaw. But again, another band with lineup changes. And again, tensions between Dennis DeYoung and the rest of the band still going on today. I don't know why some of these bands cannot just let it go. But Dennis DeYoung has gone on to have a pretty successful solo career. Tommy Shaw left at one time to work with. I just had another. I can't remember the band that he went. He left. They replaced him with another guitarist, and he came back. Of course, I think James J.Y. Young is the other than John Penoza. Or Chuck Penoza. I get those two mixed up. Yeah, Chuck Penoza and James J.Y. are the two original members of the band, and amazing stuff. But check out this wonderful album. What is the name of Tommy Shaw's band that he went to? I'll have to look it up. I'm sorry. But again, a ton of lineup changes through all of these bands, except for Creedence. I mean, they just had one major lineup change, but pretty significant stuff, which led to the end of the band. So anyway, guys, go over to Rod's channel, like and support. I'll leave the link below to his channel. Hope this thread continues, and it's a great thread. And love you all, guys. Take care. Bye now.